guys, happy Baby Name Monday. Today I am dressed as a bird to do my bird themed baby names. This is one of my absolute favourite lists. I don't think these are particularly boy names or girl names. I think they're very gender neutral actually, and they are so pretty. As we know, animal names are really popular, but bird names actually aren't massively mainstream, maybe because we just know them as birds so well, so we find them hard to transition them into people's names. I don't know, but they are starting to really come through. It's a huge trend at the moment. So these are quite hipster names. If you're looking for something really unique and different but kind of nature themed, bird names could be perfect for you. I'm going to tell you my top 10 as always. I'm going to ask you to join in as always. So basically I do a new baby name video here on YouTube every single Monday. If you don't know, my name is SJ, I'm a mum of 3, and I would love you to subscribe. I'd also love you to share this with a friend if you're already a subscriber. Let's get more people over to the baby name party. You guys are so good at picking baby names as well, so I'm going to give you a bit of a tough challenge today, but it will be sort of halfway through so it'll make more sense. So at number 10 is a name that you will definitely have heard of. It is used for boys and for girls, and that is the name Robin. I think it is one of the most pretty bird names that we have. It's actually more popular for boys than for girls at the moment. It is at number 198 for boys in the UK at the moment, and only at number 578 for girls. But you can see with girls it's kind of on an upward trend, which is kind of what we're seeing. I think spelt with a Y instead of an I is really super pretty for girls. There's that really huge pop star at the moment, Robin, who is Swedish, and my husband's Swedish, and we both really like this name. I think it would be in contention for a baby girl if we had another baby girl. Not going to. Caveat. And we really like it, both of us. I think it sounds very strong as well as kind of soft, and who doesn't love robins? It's sort of one of those birds that I'm like, kids come, there's a robin in the garden, because it's just quite magical with this little red breast. And they were actually called redbreasts for a while. That was the name of robins, and the name robin for a bird actually refers to different birds around the world, which is quite interesting. But here in the UK it is the little red bird with a red breast. I always associate it with Christmas as well, so beautiful one for a winter baby. I didn't realise that robin was actually the national bird of Britain. Apparently there was a vote and we chose robins, which probably says something about Brits. If I could be clever enough to think of it, I'll think of it, I'll tell you later in the comments. But robins are super gorgeous, and I didn't even know that every single redbreast is unique to that robin. So with difficulty, bird spotters can tell, and they're very individual. So I think that is so cute. It's a very individual name. It's a very pretty one. It's a real name because we've got lots of famous robins like Robin Williams, for example, who make this a very mainstream name, but it's still a really pretty nature name. What do you think of the name Robin? At number 9 is a very hipster, newly popular name, and that is the name Wren. What's interesting about the wren bird is that it's very small, and in proportion to its size, it actually has the loudest song of any bird. So if you've got a very loud and noisy family, or you're expecting your baby to be very loud, the name Wren is lovely. It's more popular for girls, but it is also used for boys. So it's at number 334 in terms of usage for girls, which is much higher than I expected. I've never met a baby called Wren, or 1,363 for boys. And I have met a baby boy Wren. I'm sure you all follow Katie Ellison, who blogs at Mummy Daddy Me. She's lovely, and I've met her, and her little baby boy Wren is so beautiful. And when she chose the name, I was like, what an amazing name. I know she said she gets a few comments about it, but obviously she absolutely loves it, and I think it's just set to be much more mainstream. You can see it coming through, and I think it is soft but strong. It doesn't sound kind of like a very feminine name. I think that it sounds quite strong and masculine as well, so I think it works for either gender. I love it. Do you? And number 3 is probably one of my personal favourite bird names that I had on my list that was vetoed off the bat by my husband, but that is the name Lark. I really like it. I love that it's to do with singing and to do with joy, because those are the two things I really associate with Lark. It's at 0, it doesn't rank, there doesn't seem to be any babies named Lark, but I think maybe it's been used as middle names. That's how I probably would have used it. I think it sounds really nice. I think it could work for a boy or a girl. There's loads of nice facts about larks that make this such a beautiful baby name. So larks are the first bird to sing in the morning. They start singing before dawn, and so they are the first song that you will hear in the dawn chorus. That reminds me of all of my babies. And I'd rather think of their baby crying as like, oh, it's my songlark waking up, than like, oh my god, it's 5 AM. But yeah, it's a beautiful songbird, and it's known very much for that. We also have a saying, it might be a British one, we say larking about, or having a bit of a lark, which means to have a bit of fun and to be a bit kind of fool around and make other people laugh. But the origin of that phrase is that European skylarks do lots of acrobatics in the air, and they're very active, and apparently sailors used to call boys who used to sneak up to the top of the, what are they called? Riggings. I nearly said rafters. Up to the riggings of the ships and play around up there, and they used to call them, they say they were larking about. So it's an old sailing phrase, which I think is really cool and really, really nice, and two lovely meanings for a baby. And it sounds like a name. L names are so, so popular. The K makes it kind of quite a strong name. What do you think? Am I crazy to love the name Lark? I don't think I am, but you know, let me know what you think. At 4 is a name that I think is set to boom soon. Oh, rhyming. And that is the name Dove. I just started to really love the name Dove. I think we love anything with V's in it. We love Evie at the moment, all those sort of Livia. So Dove sounds very similar to it, but it's obviously a beautiful, beautiful name. The other reason I think it's really set to boom is due to a newly popular actress, Dove Cameron. She is a sort of one of the new Disney, you know, franchise people. She's been in lots of Disney stuff. Most recently, she's in Descendants, which I'm obsessed with. I watched it with my goddaughter, and now I bought the DVD. Pretty much for myself. She's amazing. She's kind of like the next Britney type, you know, singer, actress, and she's really, really popular. Her name is actually Chloe, but she's changed it to Dove. Smart move, because I love it. Doves are obviously a beautiful namesake. A dove is actually part of the pigeon family. So the funniest phrase I found about doves is they're basically pigeons with a good PR agency. Because everyone hates pigeons, but we love doves, don't we? And there's so much lovely dove iconography. I have loads of bird things around my house, like these bird sheets on my bed, my bird dress. I have birds on the Christmas tree. I just really like it, and doves are one of my all-time favorites. Of course, it's very biblical and spiritual. It's as a bird of peace, and that came from the Noah's Ark story when the floods were going and he sent a dove out to see if there was land, and one day the dove came back with an olive branch in its mouth. Doves were used as messenger birds throughout the war, so they're a really lovely icon, and I think it makes a gorgeous name. The only thing in the UK is we have a huge cosmetics brand called Dove, so kind of you can think of it, some people will have that really strongly in their mind, but actually as I was thinking about this as a baby name, it didn't spring to mind until much later. I was like, oh yeah, Dove, Dove. But I think if you called your baby it, you get lots and lots of compliments. I think this is much more for a girl than a boy, but could work for either. What do you think? Do you like it? So getting into names that mean bird as well, I had a look at those. So if you don't want to go strongly for a bird name, but you like the idea of having some sort of bird iconography around your baby, the name Sephora is a really pretty one, and it's actually Hebrew for bird. So Hebrew names are mega trendy. Sephora is lovely. I think you would always spell that correctly. It's got that lovely PH. It sounds very, very modern, bang on trend at the moment. S names are always really, really pretty. It is long and pretty, and it's got that lovely Hebrew edge to it. Sephora as well is also a huge cosmetics brand. So cosmetics have been leading where we should be going with our baby names, but I definitely wouldn't let that put me off. I think this sounds so beautiful. It's actually at number 4,863 in terms of usage, so I guess that means 1 or 2 baby Sephoras were born in the last couple of years. I think it's really pretty. Would you pop that onto your list? Couldn't have a bird baby name list without the name Birdie on it. Birdie to me sounds so kitsch, so retro. It's quite different from the others, which are kind of like spiritual sounding and kind of flighty. Birdie to me sounds much more cheeky, much cuter. I think it would be maybe a bit harder one to pull off all through your life, but I always think once you're called a name, you just embody it no matter what age you are. Do you know anyone called Birdie? What do you think of it? There were 3 babies called Birdie in 2016, so it is being used, it is out there. I think it'd be a really cute one for a middle name as well. I just think it's really, really kitsch and cool. Birdie could always be a little nickname as well if you really, really like it, but you're not going to get that past to your other half. Have a think about using that as a nickname for any other name, or any other B name, or an ED could easily be called Birdie as a little nickname when they're younger, but have a more kind of longer lasting name. At 4 is a great one. You'll definitely have heard of this name, but probably only heard it in context of one person, and that is the name Sparrow. So Nicole Richie called her little boy Sparrow James Midnight, and I loved it. I was like, oh, I wonder if I could convince my husband to have a boy named Sparrow. I doubt it, but it is great. It sounds such a cool name, and for her, she's got a Harlow and a Sparrow, and I think those go so beautifully together. I think mixing a bird name with a very traditional name, like having Sparrow James, is a great way of bringing quite a unique name into your family. So this is my little challenge for you today. Which of these names do you think mix very well with traditional baby names? So this is my little challenge for you today. Taking these bird names, I would love it in the comments below if you had a go at mixing them with very traditional names to make it very wearable everyday pairing. So it could be that you go something like Sparrow James, basically. It could be Olivia Lark that you like. It might be Henry Wren or Wren Henry. Just what do you think go together really nicely as a pairing? And it's quite fun to think about that, because I do think that that really allows you to use these more out there names if you are a bit wary of it. But Sparrow is a lovely one. Sparrow is an absolutely tiny bird. It's cute for like a really like little baby boy. I just think it's gorgeous. It does bring to mind Captain Jack Sparrow these days from Pirates of the Caribbean, so that does spring to me straight away. But I think that's nice. If you're a Johnny Depp fan, it's a way of getting that in there as well. I love it. There were 4 baby boys called this next name last year in 2016. It's a great one. It's very, very trendy, I think, and that is the name Finch. Finch sounds a bit like Mad Men, doesn't it? Kind of a bit like cool, edgy, creative. It's definitely a kind of hipster name. You've got Atticus Finch from To Kill a Mockingbird, so that is making the huge popularity boom at the moment from all of those names. Finch to me sounds like kind of 1940s American, really classy, and definitely suitable as a first name. Finches are absolutely tiny, and they're actually kept as pets, and people keep lots of finches. They keep them in a group, a little flock. They don't like to be handled, but they are very fun and lively to watch. I don't like the idea of keeping little finches in cages, but I'm sure that they're kept in very big cages and looked after super duper well. So what do you think of the name Finch? The last 2 aren't officially bird names, they are bird associated names, and I love them. So number 2 is the name Lita. And Lita actually means winged. So it's a beautiful one. It sounds so gorgeous. Such a unique, different take on something like Olivia, which is so popular. O names, I go on about them all the time. We all love them. But Lita, I'd never heard. I think it is Spanish for winged. I haven't really seen it on many baby name lists, but because it just means winged, I think it could be for a boy or a girl, because obviously these are bird names, but you can think of like a winged horse, like a Pegasus, like a unicorn with wings, anything like that. Oh, My Little Pony with wings, amazing. So it could be a gorgeous one. I think it sounds great. It's so pretty. I'm surprised we haven't started using it more. This is one I would definitely use. I think it is very, very wearable, and it's not ranking at the moment. And at number 1 is a little gem of a name, and that is the name Quill. How cute is that? We all know that a quill is basically a feather. So before pens were invented, people would take feathers, swan feathers sometimes for the most expensive, and sharpen them, dip them in ink, and use them to write. And nowadays, if you can buy like a quill pen, they'll have tons of feathers on them and be quite theatrical. It's very Harry Potter, isn't it? But the name Quinn is really popular, and Quill is gorgeous. The name Quillian is more kind of heard of. I think something about Guardians of the Galaxy, there's a Quillian, but it's still not ranked. It's still at 0. We're not using this, and I think it is brilliant. I think it is great if you love literature and writing as well. I think I'd always get positive comments on the little baby named Quill. So those were my top 10 bird themed baby names. Honestly, I had the longest list and I've had to really shorten it down, so I want to be here for like hours talking to you about them. But let me know in the comments below which ones I have missed out. I'm sure they were on my list somewhere. Let me know if you have a bird name yourself or in your family, and do have a go at playing the game, sort of mixing the traditional with the unusual to create some really great name choices for other people reading these lists. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this Baby Name Monday. I absolutely love doing these baby name lists. I've got so many exciting things lined up towards the end of the year and on to next year. Do give it a thumbs up if you've liked it, and hit subscribe to stick around for new baby names every single Monday. And I will see you later on in the week. I also do other like parenting vlogs throughout the week, so I will see you Wednesday, Friday if I'm organised enough. See you guys.